It's the holiday season, which means it's time to start canning one of my favorite vegetables, sweet potatoes. You can find them in almost every grocery store, and they're at a really good price right now. I'm going to show you step by step how you can your own sweet potatoes. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing you need to know when it comes to canning sweet potatoes is that you need to pick ones that are very firm but don't have a bunch of damage on them, because if they do have damage or they're not very firm, when you go to take the peels off of these and cut into them, you may find that they are mushy or damaged inside. So you don't want to waste your money on sweet potatoes that you can't even can. So first thing you want to do before you go to can these is you need to wash them off, because they have a lot of soil on them and you definitely don't want that getting into your food. You just need to wash them to make sure that the majority of this is coming off. You can do it with your hands. You don't need to use any kind of vegetable scrub brush. They'll be smoother and you'll be able to feel whether or not you've gotten that soil off. After you wash off your sweet potatoes, you're going to put them into a stainless steel pot and you're going to cover them so that they have an inch of water above the top of them. Then you want to turn your heat to medium high and bring these to a boil. And once it's boiling, you're going to reduce your heat to medium, and then you're going to cook them for about 5 to 10 minutes. You don't want these cooked through. You just want them warm enough that the skins begin to peel away from them easily and they will just slip off. If you cook them too long, they're going to get mushy inside, and when you can them, they're just going to turn to goo. Once they've boiled, you're going to take them out of here. I use a pair of tongs because you definitely don't want to get burnt. And then I put them in my sink to cool slightly, just enough to where I can handle them without burning myself. You're going to throw this water out. And once this does begin to boil, I start a pot of water that has about 16 cups in it, because you're going to pour boiling water over top of your sweet potatoes once you put them in their jars. So next, I'm going to show you how easy it is to slip the peels off of your sweet potatoes after you boil them. Something I want to mention before I go any further is that if you are using Ball canning lids, do not heat these. The Ball company says that you can damage the seal on these if you preheat them. So make sure you are not doing that. With most lids, you do heat them up first, but don't do that with these. To take off the skins, all you really need to do is just slide them off like that. They come off very easily. They're really pretty soft right now. I'm not having any issues getting them off of here. I'm just going to cut the ends off. You don't really want that in there. Then I will cut my sweet potato. And you can see on the outside of this, it's pretty cooked, but the inside is still fairly stiff. So you just turn them over. And you're going to cut them into 1-inch cubes, roughly 1 inch. They don't have to be perfect. And then after I've done that, I'll be putting them into my bowl. But you can see, they're cooked on the outside, but the inside is still pretty stiff. Now that I've finished peeling and cutting all of my sweet potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and process them. I'm doing pint jars, and you need to make sure that you leave an inch headspace on your jars. That way they process properly, and you do need to process them in pints for 65 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get one of my jars using my tongs. Put it here. I'm going to get my funnel out. I need to grab a paper towel. This is so I can wipe the rim of my jar so there's no residue on there to keep it from sealing. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fill this loosely within an inch of the top of the jar. You don't want to pack these in. Just loosely put them in there. Right, add maybe 2 smaller ones. Now, rinse my hands. They get a little gooey. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill this, like I said, to 1 inch of headspace. I like to use this funnel that has the taller size because it helps keep food from coming out and it keeps it in the jar. And now that I've done that, I'm going to use my wand so I can get rid of any air bubbles. Go around the outside of the jar. Looks like it needs a little bit more water. I don't need that to do this. So now that I have the proper headspace, I'm going to wipe off the rim and put my lid on here and my band. Then only tighten it fingertip tight, which is usually about 1/4 of a turn. I'm going to go ahead and put it into my canner. And I will repeat this process for 8 more jars. And once I'm done, I will show you how everything turned out. After processing all of my sweet potatoes, I ended up with 9 jars. So I started with 12 pounds, so that was a pretty good amount of jars. And I also have 2 extra cups that I'm going to be using when I make Thanksgiving dinner. So thank you for joining me today. Please check out my other videos for canning, and I'll see you next time. Bye.